Closing arguments.
It was calculated.
In the sentencing trial of the Parkland shooter, a convoy of trucks crosses onto Sanibel Island for the first time since Hurricane Ian, and NASA reveals it has successfully redirected an asteroid.
Actually slowed it by 32 minutes.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Julian Davis. Today it's Wednesday, October 12th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Jury deliberations are underway in the Parkland sentencing trial. Life or death for school shooter Nikolas Cruz is now in the hands of those jurors.
As the network's DeLeon reports, it's following the closing arguments yesterday by both the defense and the prosecution.
This plan was goal-directed. It was calculated, it was purposeful, and it was a systematic massacre.
Now, all of these years later, Nikolas Cruz is being sentenced. You're looking at the closing arguments in the case on Tuesday. The prosecution talked about the cruelty of the shooting.
You have to figure out what? Something to say to the Uber driver because she may be suspicious. So what does he say to her? I'm going to music class. Explains his instrument that he's taking.
Saying Cruz researched other deadly shootings and came up with a tactical and purposeful plan for murder. Cruz pleaded guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. The jury will decide if Cruz spends the rest of his life in prison or gets put to death. For South Florida Media Network, Daisy DeLeon.
Bridge access to Sanibel Island is back open this morning. A group of trucks entered Sanibel Island yesterday for the first time since Hurricane Ian. The temporary fixes to the bridge is safe for trucks, trailers, and first responders to cross. Until then, the only way to enter the island is by boat or aircraft. The bridge will open to the public beginning next Friday.
The MarALago document dispute continues, with the U.S. Justice Department urging the Supreme Court to stay out of it. Last week, former President Donald Trump requested the High Court to intervene on the case. He wants a special master to review the classified documents. This would allow Trump's team to review and argue that the document should be off limits to the persecutor. The Justice Department has blocked the special master, but if the Supreme Court acts, it would only take 5 justices to agree to grant Trump's request.
This morning, there's some public support for the embattled campaign of former football star Herschel Walker. It follows accusations the Republican candidate paid for an abortion. As DC Bureau reporter Juliana Navarez tells us, Florida's Rick Scott joined him on the campaign trail yesterday.
Republicans are looking to pick up seats in the Senate, and some say that means supporting controversial Georgia state candidate Herschel Walker. The support comes just days after the staunchly anti-abortion rights candidate was accused of paying for an abortion.
Abortion thing is false. It's a lie.
Although Walker denies the claims, many of his opponents have called him out for hypocrisy, given that he strongly opposes access to abortion and supports a national ban after 15 weeks with no exceptions.
And apparently for my opponent, that's not enough. He wants to see a nationwide ban, no exceptions, which includes rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think that's extreme. I think it's out of touch with the people of Georgia, and the people of Georgia have a real choice to make.
With a 50-50 Senate, Republicans are making many races like this one in the swing state of Georgia a top priority. The National Republican Senatorial Committee will be redirecting money to Walker's campaign.
So I was thinking of all the reasons that people ought to vote for Herschel Walker, and I came across a problem. There's too many. There's way too many reasons that each one of you should vote for Herschel Walker, and everybody in Georgia should. Every single voter should.
Republicans such as Rick Scott and Tom Cotton have come to Walker's defense in light of his controversy. Former President Donald Trump called the abortion accusations a distraction by Democrats in the media.
According to Walker's campaign, more Republicans are looking to support him in the race. Walker is set to face off against Raphael Warnock in their first and only debate on Friday. From Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network, this is Juliana Narvaez.
To try to slow inflation, the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to make borrowing money more expensive. Concerns are also related to wages not only rising as higher, but also employees are asking for more money so that they can afford goods. The network's Nikolas Cruz from our DC bureau is in Washington this morning.
September's job report closed out with a positive growth as 263,000 jobs were added and unemployment rates went down 3.5%.
This is the progress we need to see.
As for Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis says unemployment rate is the lowest among the 10 largest states, a full percentage lower than the national rate of 3.7% in August 2022. However, Hurricane Ian has caused some recent trouble. In Fort Myers, people are not only trying to find a safe and stable place to live, but also they are now faced with unemployment.
A lot of people lost jobs. My job is washed out, you know.
He says shrimp boats have been piled one on top of the other, and the cleanup can not only take weeks, if not months. This is a big industry for this city. Nationally, people are paying more for essentials. Everything from food to rent is much higher compared to this time last year. Plus,
the thing that's hurting people, of course, is inflation.
To try to slow inflation, the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to make borrowing more expensive. Concerns are also related to wages not rising nearly as high as inflation, and employees are asking for more money so they can afford goods. Increasing wages is something that the Federal Reserve wants to slow down, as they fear that this might pump up money on the economy and make the inflation worse. Reporting for the South Florida Media Network from Washington, D.C., Nicole Castañeda.
Flowers this morning on the Walk of Fame star belonging to the late Angela Lansbury. The actress was found dead in her home at Los Angeles yesterday. Lansbury was an actress for 7 decades, most famous for her 12-year role as Jessica Fletcher on the TV show Murder, She Wrote, and to the younger generation as the voice of Mrs. Potts in Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Her children were sad to announce that their mother died peacefully in her sleep just 5 days before her 97th birthday.
Monday was World Mental Health Day, and reporter Aquiles Barreto spoke to a nonprofit trying to win the race against the stigma against mental illness.
Thousands of advocates around the globe are uniting to celebrate World Mental Health Day. And although there's still a long road ahead, organizations like Still I Run are making big strides to break the stigma around mental illness.
What started as a Facebook group took off to become a national nonprofit with over 17,000 members. After struggling with mental health herself, Sasha Wolf founded the online community as a way to connect with fellow runners.
And I couldn't find anything. So I figured, why not start it myself? And that was the beginning of Still I Run's story.
A story of many chapters indeed. And one of the newest chapters just launched here in Miami, with Captain Brenda Rivera guiding her peers towards the finish line of self-improvement.
I have anxiety, depression. I was actually recently diagnosed with PTSD, and that's how I came across Still I Run. It made me realize that I wasn't the only one facing a lot of the things that I was facing.
According to data from the National Survey of Drug Use and Health, around 17% of Floridians struggled with mental illness in 2020. Brenda believes that running could help a lot of people deal with the weight of living with mental illness.
Forget about everything that's going on, every stress factor in your life, and be able to do it for your mental health and for your overall being.
Every year on World Mental Health Day, Still I Run hosts a virtual 5K race to encourage newcomers to start the journey of improving their mental health.
Even on my cruise, I still wanted to do the virtual 5K for them and be a big backup on the community.
For those who are looking for an outlet but are still apprehensive about using running to help, the Still I Run team says,
do it, because running has such a sense of stability and endorphins that you feel so much better after you run versus when you first started.
If you want to learn more, you can go to stillirun.org, or you can reach out to them through facebook.com/stillirun.
Stories like Brenda's remind us that making small steps can make big changes. Reporting for the South Florida Media Network, I'm Aquiles Barreto.
An iconic era coming to an end, the 13th and final movie of the Halloween franchise coming to theaters soon.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
It was expected to be a huge success if it only slowed the orbit by about 10 minutes.
Asteroid Detour, NASA revealing the results of the first planetary defense mission. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
An out-of-this-world announcement, NASA revealing that its asteroid experiment was a breakthrough. NASA's first mission with the goal of planetary defense is considered a success.
Scientists plan to change the trajectory of an asteroid by slamming an aircraft into the asteroid Dimorphos that currently orbits a larger asteroid, Didymus.
Now, this is a watershed moment for planetary defense and a watershed moment for humanity.
The goal was to shave at least 10 minutes off its usual orbit, and they were able to take 32 minutes off and triple the expectation.
The final movie in a slasher sequel starring Jamie Lee Curtis is coming to theaters this Friday. The 13th movie in the Halloween franchise premiered yesterday in Los Angeles. The final film marks the end of an era, as actress Jamie Lee Curtis has played her character Laurie Strode for over 40 years.
That is all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.